All right. Okay, so we're recording another YouTube video, which I'll upload. And as you know, I'm sitting here at in a fast food place because it's like 107 outside. Now, the first video I tried to upload into YouTube, and for some reason, it didn't upload it. It came back with a little screen that said YouTube user refused your video. And I'm going, how can you refuse a video? It was an upload. So there must be something going on at YouTube, but YouTube is not telling people what the heck is going on. All right, now I jumped around quite a bit. I reviewed my first video, and I jumped around quite a bit in the video, and actually I like the way I do it because it gives people the impression, at least professionals, that I have a bipolar problem, when it's actually the United States of America and its citizens, tax-paying, child-killing citizens, that have the bipolar problem. They talk real big about keeping kids safe, but yet you all pay taxes to kill children in other countries. You know, you can't run away from that. I don't care how much media you watch, or, you know, and then I had some guy leave me a message on YouTube telling me that I need to seek professional help. And of course I answered him and I said, really? I said, where's your doctorate? Do you have a doctorate in psychiatry and psychology? Because I'd like to see your professional papers to make such a diagnosis. And if you don't have a diagnosis, if you don't have a professional bachelor's or master of arts or sciences, and you don't have a doctorate in psychology or psychoanalytical capabilities, then you're the nutcase. You're the one that needs meds, not me. And of course, he didn't say I need meds. He said seek professional help. What's professional? I'm already a professional. I'm a professional quantum physics explorer. And in the world of quantum physics, let me tell you, that is bigger than the universe. It's easier to explore the universe, which is unbelievably huge, than it is to explore the quantum matrix. Or there are many different tags that I've given it. One tag I've given it is quantum dark matter matrix. The other one is, but there's various, in theory, there's at least 2 or 3 different forms of dark matter. But let's just call it dark matter across the board. It doesn't matter how many subcategories there are of them. And so I am one of the pioneering explorers in the quantum matrix field. These people that supposedly work for the White House and for all these government officials in England, France, Germany, it doesn't matter what country you come from, Russia, they don't know anything compared to what I discovered. Now, my claims can be completely ignored, but you can't ignore the fact that I placed so many coincidental coincidences. I'm not reading them in. For instance, let's take the plane crash. The one that crashed on London Street. Now, I already said in my other video, which I plan to upload somewhere, I said, you know, that I placed in my tags on the August 3rd YouTube video, airplane crashes, London flight 222. And I explained the numbers, that the actual numbers that manifested themselves were in the plane crash that took place. And it wasn't in London, of course, it was here in Los Angeles, very close to where I made the prediction. So a small Cessna 210 crash, which is 12 digits away from, right, exactly, my London flight 222. But when I make a prediction like that, it's multifold, it's multifaceted. It doesn't just deal only with that crash. Before that prediction, before that one, let's take it in steps. Let's put that to the side for a minute, the airplane crash. Let's go back and talk about the Colorado shooting. Colorado shooting, kid with orange hair. In the Batman comics, Batman always talked with the Riddler and the Joker And the Joker and the Riddler always gave, the Riddler more so than the Joker, they always gave Batman a challenge. He had to mentally figure out what their riddle was. They were giving them a riddle of something that was going to happen, and they had to figure it out. That was the challenge. It's like Sherlock Holmes and his arch enemy. And all these heroes and stories, when you read about them, remember, the people that make up these stories have DNA codes. And these DNA codes manifest themselves through the quantum matrix network. And when you superimpose what I just said against the 99th monkey philosophy, you end up with some very, very heavy-duty awareness manifestations that should be blowing your mind. And that one superimposing is enough to set you off on your own path of discovery to finding out why. How can something communicate without there being any wires? You know, some people in the past have called it psychic phenomenon, and the government called it remote viewing, and so on, but they couldn't figure out how it worked. That's just like they know how to deliver electricity to all these cities and everything, but they really don't 100% know what happens when one electron jumps to the electron, jumps to another electron to deliver electricity through a wire, like a leapfrog. How it jumps like a relay team from one through the lattice of the wire at the atomic level, and how it jumps through, and what happens to the electron every time it jumps. Now, there are thousands and thousands of research projects that will tell you repeatedly this theory, that theory, another theory, but very few people will actually be able to take all of those theories, put them together in a jigsaw puzzle, and tell you exactly how it really works. That's why some people, like Gene Dixon, Gordon Michael Scallion, other people who have predicted things that end up happening, that's how they do it. They carry within them a splice in their DNA. Remember, one human cell hosts 3 billion or more genetic codes. These genetic codes are spliced in different order. They're all spliced in different order. That's why everyone has their different fingerprints. That's why everybody's like a unique existence. They are a unique entity. Once they're born, they are unique unto themselves. Even if they have a look-alike somewhere on the planet, some people call it a doppelganger, it doesn't matter. You're still unique. Even twins, although they're very, very alike, and although they share entanglement in the quantum matrix network, they're still different. And this prediction capability is in different degrees. It's just like a temperature. Some is more than others. So when you go and you actually start to try to unravel all of this stuff, you end up with a picture of the fact that, wait a minute, that means that every novel, every science fiction story, everything that has ever been thought of by people, placed on paper, placed on papyrus in the Egyptian, on the scrolls, in the Bible, and I'll get to that in a minute about Bible comparisons, about Bible codes and comparisons with the real definition of what goes on in the quantum matrix dark matter network, because that's really what it is. So when you superimpose the 99th monkey philosophy and use that as a template, you end up with a lot of definite answers that's more than just coincidence. Like I said, let's go back and talk about the plane crash in LA. The plane crash was a Cessna 210. But according to my prediction, I put down London 222. It crashed on London Street in West LA. That is not a coincidence. I don't care who or what expert says, that is not a coincidence for a plane. And the fact that how is that connected to the shooting in Colorado? Well, the Joker leaves riddles for Batman to figure out. In this particular case, it's riddles about predictions. The predictions for the Joker represents the name. The Joker represents a deck of cards. The deck of cards represents the 2 Jokers. The Jokers represent blackjack, which is 21. 21, 1, 2, or 2, 1. So, and then the other coincidence is it not only crashed on London Street in West LA, it crashed on the 1200 block, or excuse me, the 2100 block of London Street. That's right. So you don't have one coincidence, you have 2. 2 magical numbers that appeared at the same time. Cessna 210 crashing into London Street, 2100 block. So these things are not coincidences. And since I've made these YouTube videos for more than 3 years, and the last 2 months have been focused on making current predictions towards current events that are taking place right now. Now, because I can't record on YouTube, more bad events are going to take place. Probably a lot more people are going to die. And you people are responsible for it, because I'm not doing anything wrong. You shouldn't have blocked me for making those YouTube videos. Now more people are going to die. So that's one coincidence. A few coincidences with the Cessna 210 that crashed into London Street, 2100 block. Now we take the 210, look at it very closely and go, well, could that be that there's a future flight from London? Flight 21, flight 12, flight 222, flight 22, flight, any which way you can jumble the numbers. Now let's talk about why it's connected to the shooting in Colorado. Well, the kid was following storylines. Storylines that had to do with Batman and the Joker. Okay? And Batman and the Joker. And the Joker talks about, like I said, 21. The number 21 coincides with the plane crash. How many people got shot in the theater? Well, a lot of people. But how many died? Well, according to the news, 13. But originally it was 12. And then one other person died. Now the figure could go up or down depending on how badly the others were injured. So 20. So again, it's a reverse number. 21 can turn around to be 12. And if you add the number 2 and 1, of course you end up with a 3, which would be 13, which you're adding on to the original riddle of 12. Now, let's go and talk about and there's more coincidences tied in, but I don't have really a lot of time at 13 minutes. So let's go to the next step, talk about the Sikh shooting. Now, before I predicted the Sikh shooting, or the temple shooting, I talked about being Gandhi. I talked about the movie Gandhi. And I talked about that scene where the general shoots into an open crowd that they want to disperse. They didn't have any weapons. He fired into a totally unarmed crowd of men, women, and children, and shot a whole bunch of people, just like what James Holmes did. And I used that example. Then I also talked about the India blackout, which I predicted as well before the blackout happened. Then the church shooting happened. And my other recording will explain some facets of that particular situation. Now there is a fusion center only a few miles from the theater, from Aurora, Colorado, the suburb. A fusion center that has combined all the police departments, FBI, and everyone, and they do scenarios every day, hundreds of people. I say this in my other tape. And yet they couldn't figure out what was going to happen. They weren't watching my videos, and because of that, they didn't know how to interpret the videos. They didn't know how to mix and match. And because of that, that's why those people are dead. So when people try to point fingers at me and say that I'm cold-blooded, that I could have given everybody directly exactly when, who, what, where, and when it was going to happen, hell no. Who has lifted a finger to help me in 3 years? My house was burnt, all my cars, trucks, boats, motorhomes, everything was taken from me. In 9 years, you people have raped me of everything that I owned, and now you want to say, hey, yeah, I owe you? No, I don't think so. You got it wrong. It's you that owes me. Every last one of you that pay taxes, that 75% of your taxes goes to the military and kills innocent children in other countries in your crappy, lousy wars. So you're the ones responsible, not me, and you're the ones that are derelict in your duty to revolt and overthrow the government when it gets out of control like this, and you've got 58 mass murders, shootings that have happened in the United States since a long time ago to now. You tell me, if you have the possibility, even the remote possibility, tiny as it is, of believing that I can predict these things and that I can sort them out and find out everything that's needed to know without violating anybody's civil rights, by the way, then it behooves you to be talking to me directly, in public, totally televised, nothing in secret. This is why the government doesn't want to do any thing with me, because they want to do it all in secret so they can keep certain things that public shouldn't know. Like it's their fault that all this happened, along with the media. All right, I'm going to stop this now.